Alright, before we get into the meat of the review, two things. First, this is going to be kind of a too late review, even though there are versions of the knife we're going to look at today still available on the market. Spoiler alert, not necessarily the ones I prefer. And those would, of course, be, my luck, discontinued. Which gets me into the second thing. In previous reviews of Gerber products, I've talked about my ongoing love it, loathe it relationship with Gerber over the decades. And yeah, just within this series of knives, it's going to be kind of clearly illustrated. Which knives am I talking about? Well, Gerber produced a series of folders based on the Applegate Fairbairn combat dagger. And they come in different sizes, from about a 4.5-inch blade down to the ones we're going to look at today, which they call their mini Covert. Alright, so the Applegate Fairbairn, the Covert model, and the mini Covert model. It's usually all about a difference in size. The full-size one has, I believe it's a 4.5-inch blade. I don't currently have one. We'll talk about why in a second. There's also then the Covert, which brings that down to a 3.5-inch blade, supposedly for easier carry, or if you're in a jurisdiction that limits the length of your knife. And then the mini Covert, which is their smallest model, which is a 2.5-inch blade. This one I carried for many, many years and have a couple of different versions of because, well, I liked at least one of them so much. Made a really, unobtrusive pocket knife, easy pocket carry knife. I also used it as a keychain knife and a couple other things that I put it to over the years. It's just a very useful little folder, but within the three I own of varying quality. Let's just start by talking about my best one. And of course it's discontinued. Satin finish stainless steel. So you've got a partially serrated edge, 2.5-inch blade. The other specs on it, it's 11/16 of an inch wide, and then the thickness, interesting on this one, is it's an 1/8 of an inch thick. So reasonably stout little blade. All the edges are just very nicely finished, and fit and finish on the knife is great. Now it has plastic scales over stainless steel liners, and it is a liner lock. Pocket clip, only one carry orientation. What you see is what you get, so you can't move it around. Now, liner lock on this is not terribly thick, but it has been sturdy. I've had this knife for over a decade, carried it frequently, hung my keys off of it, stuck it in my pocket, used it on a fairly daily basis, got a lot of pocket lint and other things, and it's still very, very smooth and very, very tight and maintains a pretty good edge. Now, I believe this generation may have still been 440, even though the current ones are the 7CR17. Yeah, it cuts pretty well. Whether or not you like having serrations on your knife is up to you. You've got a drop point with a slight bit of a swedge. It's supposed to also be, a backup utility sort of knife. You've got that sort of coffin-shaped handle. Now, on these models, the scales are similar to the original Gerber Applegate folders with the slots in them and the slightly convex profile. And I just find the whole thing very, very comfortable. Everything's easy to reach. It's very smooth to open, locks positively. Yeah, love it knife. But what about a couple of the other versions? Since I like this one so much, I decided to pick up a couple more, and things got a bit iffy. So stainless model, black DLC coating. Now this one's kind of pretty because it's got the little signatures and such on there. Let me flip it around the right way so you can see that, your Applegate Fairbairn signatures. Now you can already see at a glance that the DLC, it's taken some wear and tear, worn off in places, hasn't held up as good, and I don't think the steel on this one is quite as sharp. Again, I don't specifically know what kind of stainless steel it is, and it cuts just fine. There's no problem with that. It's a little bit more ragged on the edge, So it might have a little bit more teeth or whatever. It might be the quality of steel, might not be quite as hard. Dimension, shape, scales, everything is the same, but quality control not quite. I bought these for about $30, $35 about a decade ago, and I got this one, I forget if it was Cabela's or Walmart or somewhere, where they had it in a clear plastic clamshell. So it came open versus closed in a box. And what had happened somewhere in production or packing is that liner lock, which is, as I mentioned, kind of thin, got bent. And it got bent all the way across the blade and then jammed into the other side of it. So I had to take the knife apart and unbend some stuff. And it just never quite was as smooth in many ways than the other knife. The other knife, as I pointed out, it kind of opens and closes really like butter. It's really smooth and really quick. This one has, for whatever reason, it's smooth, but there's just a lot more drag on it. And I suppose I can adjust that, but then it's going to make the blade a little bit loose. The blade it's tight. The liner lock hasn't really failed since, but yeah, that initial quality control thing, the DLC coating not holding up quite so well, and then just the way the knife was put together. One thing I've had to do on a number of different knives to allow, well, my kind of busted thumbs to get good purchase on that opening stud is I did have to make a little bit of a relief cut here. Just reduce that so I can get my thumb in there behind that stud a little bit easier, a little bit more positively to get a good, consistent opening. On this one, I didn't have to do that. So just that slight differences in construction and tolerances, this knife isn't quite as good. So this one didn't wind up getting carried. This knife wound up going into the center console of my car. And considering all the travel I've done in the last 15, 16 years, kind of live in the car. So basically, anytime I'm in the car and I need a knife for a utility use, opening a package, or yeah, it's a little scuffed up because I probably used it as a mini pry bar and screwdriver and stuff like that from time to time. So the knife has taken a lot of use and held up. But just the QC, yeah, it wasn't up to this one. But it's going to get a little worse. All right, so this one, Loathe It, smooth, comfortable, very impressive little EDC knife. This one, well, it's okay, not great. If I had gotten this one first, I probably wouldn't have been as thrilled as I was getting this one. But both of these models have been discontinued. Of course they have. Which one is still available in this series? Well, it's this one. This is the FAST, which apparently stands for Forward Action Spring Assist. So it's a spring assist version, but it's very, very different. Now, the blade is arguably the same length and width, but oddly it's thinner by about a 32nd of an inch. Don't know how much difference that makes, and again, I don't know if this version, which again I've had for about 10 years, is a 440, 420 or the 7CR17 steel, but it hasn't held an edge quite as well. It also has a bit of a wider edge bevel, which means it should hold a better edge, but okay, well, sort of, kind of. I mean, it's okay. It's, well, that ripped. It's never been shaving sharp, utility sharp, same half serration kind of thing. Also, it has a matte finish, which again you can see the signatures on there. The finish is held up reasonably well, but it hasn't gotten near as much use as the other two knives because, well, a couple of things. First of all, to get that spring assist system in there, they made some significant changes. G10 scales, which I thought would be a great thing, but it winds up being, well, just a little shave thicker, but because those scales are flat slabs, yeah, it feels a lot thicker, carries a lot thicker, and in the hand just doesn't feel nearly as good because it's a lot squarer. If that makes any sense. I like the rounded surfaces here, even though it's only on the sides of the knife. You've still got the limited carry pocket clip, only goes into one way, but okay, Right now, this goes for $55 on Amazon. And I didn't pay that much when I originally got it, but for 55 bucks, I've heard other versions, I've seen other reviews where they had better luck. I did not have good luck with the one I bought. First of all, spring assist with this kind of button latch lock. Now that's something you have to, when it's closed, kind of flops and slops around. There's a little bit of a click in there, but whether or not it's going to be in the locked or unlocked position is kind of a crapshoot. You usually have to consciously make sure you push it forward into the unlock position. Yes, there's a little stupid little red spot in there that you're not going to be looking at because your thumb's going to be over the top of it. But visual inspection, you can tell if it's locked or unlocked. Well, if you just know if it's up or down, locked or unlocked, that's good enough. When it's unlocked, you should be able to put a little pressure on those thumb studs and it should snap open. It should. I had to push it. Didn't lock very positively either. You probably saw that as well. Yeah, since I got it, the spring has been, well, kind of lame. And the other thing, let me get a little closer to my microphone here. You hear that? The other knives are really smooth. Let me get that stainless one close to the microphone. Yeah. Butter. This one sounds like there's sand in there. Yeah, it's just, there's something dragging. And I talked to Gerber about it, and they said that was kind of weird. And they offered to, have me ship it to them, and then they'd work on it for a couple of months and return it to me. And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't worth my effort to box it up and pack it up and label it and send it to the post office. They would have fixed it. But now I personally also haven't tried taking it apart to see what's wrong with it. Maybe I could fix it myself, and maybe I will do that if, again, the knife, I decide it's worth it. So far, it hasn't been worth the effort to mess with it. So this went into one of my carry bags, and it became a knife that was like a backup. If I needed a knife and happened to have that computer bag with me or whatever it was, and yeah, then I would pull it out and use it. But that was almost never. Okay, I do have a similar version to this, which is the next size up. So going up to that 3.5-inch blade, okay? It is that same, slightly thinner. It is a bit wider. You are talking about a 7/8 of an inch thick, and has the profile of the full-size version. So if you want to know what the full-size blade shape is, it's this one where you've got, well, of course, it's a folding knife, so that back edge it's a false edge. It's not a real edge. It's got some jimping on the back, slightly different shape, but then the handles, yeah, they're that coffin shape, very thick, flat slab G10 sides. It's got the same kind of button system, but, well, first of all, a little bit more stiffness in the button. That tells me there's more spring in there. I have to put a little bit more thought in moving that latch around. A little bit more of a positive click than on the little one. So move the button up, put a little pressure on the thumb stud, and if I can grab it, there's okay. Snaps open a lot more positively, but not consistently. And part of that is because I'm fumbling the button, because the latch, the thumb stud is just, it's really close to the scales. So if I catch it right, but with the textures and the shapes, that my thumb just doesn't find it as easily as it does on those curved side versions. So yeah, if I get it right, like that time, that was kind of impressive. But did you hear the noise? Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of that sandpaper grit sound. And again, I haven't taken it apart to see what's in there. Also, it's interesting when I close it, maybe you can hear it. Bing! Yeah, you can hear something spring in there positively. Probably the lock on the button resetting or something like that. But yeah, okay, so this one it's better. But it's not, let me get my paper back. It's not great again. I don't know what the steel is. Holds a decent edge, but not a phenomenal, like, shaving sharp edge. I've used it more, and the matte black finish is held up pretty well. But again, because the knife didn't really excite me, tended to spend more time in a drawer or a box or something like that than actually being carried. Just not comfortable. Blade and action not impressive. I like the simple ones. Now, because I like the simple ones, you can still find the larger versions of the Applegate on the market, but I spent $120 buying one off Amazon once and almost immediately returned it. It was comfortable in the hand, opened smoothly, lock was fine. The edge was non-existent. They had a very obtuse grind on that blade, kind of like a cold chisel. Not like an edge at all, wouldn't cut butter, okay? Butter knives would be sharper. So, me being me, I decided to try to sharpen it, and the blade kind of dissolved, shall we say. It was mild steel hard, as in not hard at all. I almost thought they gave me a fake aluminum showpiece or something. Yeah, the steel on that particular version, I don't know if it was a counterfeit or what. I got it off Amazon. So yeah, I wound up returning it, and thankfully with Amazon I got a refund, but it turned me off spending the money on another one. Maybe one day I'll change my mind, because if it comes with these rounded handle scales, the general shape of it, and if it functions reasonably similar to this first one I got, I would probably love it. But so far my luck has just not been very good. So let's get our usual conversation going. Do you own any of these, of any of the sizes, any of the mechanisms? If so, let me know what you think of yours. Maybe you got some better examples and I just have terrible luck. My Gerber curse. So if you have one and you really like it, definitely tell me about it. And maybe we'll do a follow-up video later after I decide whether or not I'm going to take these fast versions apart and see if I can tune them up any. But until then, as usual, thanks for watching, following, subscribing, and I hope to see you back for, well, something more.